Well, it's a very warm welcome to the second of our quarter-final second legs, and a big task awaits Petro de Luanda, who have travelled here to the Loftus Versfeld Stadium, and the Mamelodi Sundowns preparing to host and protect their hard-earned advantage. After Al Ali won through to the semi-finals, Sundowns will hope to join them, but can Petro pull off an almighty comeback in Pretoria? And I have the pleasure of the company, one of Africa's best ever strikers, former Ghana captain, Black Stars all-time top scorer, Asamoah GYAN. How are you this evening?
I'm feeling great. How are you?
Very good, very good. And you've already taken in the very exciting second leg of Al Ali Simba. How did you see that going?
Yeah, Al Ali did what they had to do, although it wasn't a best of performance from Al Ali, but they've been able to go through. Everybody know what Ali can do when it comes to African football. They've been very, very dominated within these years. You know, Simba had to go with their head high. At least they didn't lose any of the two games. They just lost with the goal aggregate. But hey, it was a good game, and we on to the next game against Mamelodi Sundowns and Petro Atlético right now.
So you took in the first leg. How did you see that go? It looked like a match of two halves. Petro with some incredible chances, Williams in goal, an incredible performance, but Mamelodi Sundowns then really put down a marker in the second half.
Of course, Petro Atlético started so well in the first half. They had a penalty, they lost. They looked very, very lively. They could have even won the game in the first half, you know, but Mamelodi Sundowns kept their composure. You know, they came into this game without a striker, tried to keep the ball. You know, they kept their composure, their tactic worked. And then in the second half, he tried to bring more offensive players, and then he had the job done. It was a great tactical changes by Roland. Hey, they went there and then they cruised by 2-0. And today they are playing as well. I'm sure they'll be a bit comfortable. I don't think Petro Atlético can score like 3-0 or something. I don't see this happening. And I'm sure today is gonna unleash a bit of forward to at least please the fans with a couple of goals today.
Well, it's a very exciting landmark for Rulani Mokoena. It's his 50th game in charge, and incredibly, he's only lost one in 90 minutes. You know him personally, how you've already talked glowingly about his tactics. This is a 36-year-old coach in charge of one of the biggest clubs in Africa. How do you see this competition giving him and other coaches a great chance to put themselves on the map?
It's a good step up for Rolani. He's one of the young coaches in Africa. You know, he came in as a caretaker. He was able to prove himself. They gave him the job, and now he's one of the best coaches in South Africa, and he's probably one of the best coaches in African football for what he has done for his last 49 games. Today it's his 50th game, and people love him. And he's been a very, very amazing, huge figure, and also behind the scene, he's a great man.
Well, it's already been quite a year in charge. They didn't quite make it to the final of the CAF Champions League, but in fact they went undefeated, going out in away goals to eventual winners Wydad Casablanca. But now with this new exciting African Football League, there is great excitement ahead of kickoff. And you did say that the chances for Petro are going to be slim, but of course I'd imagine they have to score the first goal.
Yeah, of course, their chances here too is very, very slim. As you said, they need to try and make sure they come back into the game very, very early by scoring a goal, and then that can even boost their confidence a little. You know, there are a lot of players who did so well in the players. Talking about Gilberto, he was very, very lively. He missed the penalty, but he is their best player right now, and he's one of the players who can make a difference in this Petro Atlético team. But as I said, they have a very, very slim chances of winning this game.
So it is a very big shock then that the coach Alexander Santos has gone with both Gilberto and Alexander Guedes on the bench, and brought back the big scoring Thiago Azulao, 5-time top scorer in the Angolan League, 20 goals last season. So maybe just trying to get through the first period and then send on the Arsenal?
I think his style of play so far is going to be a bit of defensive work, trying to play on the counter, because a player like Gilberto is a player who is very lively, trying to move to spaces, and other players who are also trying to move to space. But I think he's trying to be more compact and make sure he closes the line and then play on the counter. And then if maybe they get a goal and they feel like they have more, he can introduce these players like Gilberto to just get the job done. But I feel it's not gonna work in Mamelodi Sundowns. I hope so.
Alexander Santos has to do something, and clearly containment could be the launch pad for something special. As most looking on, Mamelodi Sundowns have given themselves an almighty hand up with what was their first win in Angola. Point made in the post-match by Rulani Mokwani and Taboyo Mokoena back in the side. There were a few changes, especially for Mamelodi Sundowns, given South Africa facing off against Cote d'Ivoire in the international break. Now the two teams set up and preparing ahead of kickoff. The Sundowns' past continental history saw them claim top spots in 2016 when they became champions of Africa, beating Zamalek in that final. As mentioned, away goals denying them a place in the final last year. Now they have a huge opportunity to make it to the semi-finals of the maiden African Football League. Al Ali await after they got through on away goals against Simba. Well, it's match day 50 for Rulani Mokoena, and making 3 changes. Big excitement for Tapelo Maseko, just 19 years old, came on and scored that second goal. And the man who set him up, Serino, is also taking a starting place. Rivaldo Coetze joining the back 3. As mentioned, containment first. It would look like for the visitors, Petros, 17-time Angolan champions. Alexander Santos taking them to back-to-back cup and league victories after 13 years without a title. Zawani, one of 6 who were on international duty, as Mamelodi Sundowns lost back-to-back cup matches, the 8 Cup final, and out of the first round of the League Cup. Those 2 penalty shootout defeats, the only ones suffered by Mokwena's Sundowns. Petro de Luanda making changes themselves, 4 in total. João Tiguenes comes in at right back with To Canero also joining. That's allowed Ignacio Miguel Santos to push further forward alongside De Silva Suarez. And Thiago Azulao is back for Alexander Santos's men. The 2 coaches, certainly looks like a little present handed over. No wonder they are being saluted by the supporters. Did them proud in Angola. And the Brazilian faithful looking down here from the Loftus Versfeld stands. And we approach kickoff with Mamelodi Sundowns holding a 2-0 advantage from the first leg in Luanda. Can they convert and meet Al Ali in the semi-final? Well, it's a wonderful atmosphere here in Pretoria, and they've come here for a show. Can Mamelodi Sundowns deliver as Petro de Luanda look to try and somehow claw their way back into this match. So what a great achievement, Asamoah, to see Lani Mokoena 50 games now as the sole head coach of Mamelodi Sundowns. I take it continental success is clearly where he next wants to go.
I think for a young coach like Lani Mokoena, I think he's already up there. He's had a very, very good run with Mamelodi Sundowns, and today his 50th game, and he's hoping to get a win, which I think he's gonna get it. For me, I think he's one of the best coaches in Africa as it stands right now.
He's certainly got the African Football League in his sights. Of course, this year the maiden tournament, each of the best sides in Africa fighting out, knockout, and next year will be real excitement for the full 24. Well, a dangerous challenge there. What's the decision? And this could be a real match turner. And he has a look around, but there's no salvation. Matibi, voila, is heading off. Well, the only question for any VAR discussion would be whether there was any cover. Do you think there's any hope for him?
Wow, this looks very, very interesting for me. We were talking about Petro not having a chance to get through, but the way this red card has been that early in this game is gonna turn things around. You know, now it's up to Petro Atletico to convert their chances, and then that is why they brought their captain Elizao, who is a very, very good finisher. So it looks like they need clinical finishers in this game just to convert their chances, and obviously they have a red card right now, so it's up to them how they're going to approach the game.
Well, it's already a wonderful impact for Petro's returning striker Thiago Azulao. Got to the ball first, and once the defender commits, he's got no chance.
Yes, when a defender commits, he's the last man. It was a goal chance, and I think it was a right call by the referee. And now the problem right now is Rolani. It's going to be a very, very nightmare. He's here to see how tactical he will be. And here he is now. He knows he has a huge task ahead of him because it's so early. And this game is going to be very, very interesting to watch now.
Well, he was on international duty against Cote d'Ivoire. Back for the first leg of this tie. Mamelodi Sundowns breezed through it after a tough first half, mainly because of that goalkeeper, Ronwen Williams. They're going to need him to be on top form again. He doesn't reach the South African goalkeeper. Player down, and I imagine football's worst fear, the ball coming right at your face.
Now they have to use their experience. I'm sure now they have to buy time. You will see a player ball hits by his face, and now it feels like, hey, now we have to use our experience, how to buy time, how to keep the ball. You have to do everything possible to get through to the next stage of the competition, and that is what they are doing right now. And I'm sure they still have the backing. They still have the players that are capable. Possession wise, they can keep the ball, so I don't see any danger, but it depends on Petro Atletico, as I said, if they can convert their chances, because definitely they should be able to have more offensive players, more players to knock in on the doors of Sundowns to make sure they get some goals.
It's going to be very interesting how the coaches react. Of course, Sundowns may wait a while, then may want to readjust, but for Petro, it'll be interesting to see how quickly they send on attacking reinforcements. I mean, as you said, the game has completely changed.
For me, I think the coach of Petro Atletico should try and have right now, because that is all he wants. He wants to qualify. So he should just make sure he brings some defensive players out and then put some offensive players in, because if he wants to qualify, then he needs more offensive players.
It's quite incredible when we're only 5 minutes into the match, and yet we're already talking about changes, but that's the nature of the red card for Mvala. And Rulani Mokoena is having quite the 50th game in charge.
It's going to be a very long evening for him, and this is where sometimes experience counts. He's young, and sometimes in life you should have these obstacles, and let's see how he's going to approach this game, how he's going to make sure he comes out victorious in this game. And this is going to be one of the moments he should think about in his coaching career.
It'll be interesting that this might, we're so early in proceedings, but if you were given the option of being down to 10 men, having a 2-goal lead at home against Petro is probably what you'd pick, as opposed to one of maybe Africa's bigger giants.
Yes, I think for now, I think Sundowns, that is what they are doing right now. They just need to defend. Whenever they have the ball, they shouldn't panic. They should keep possession. They are playing at home, try and win fouls, but trying to buy time. And they shouldn't try, if the opportunity comes for them to score, why not? You know, but I think this is, now they have to make Petro Atletico keep running. They should keep the ball, and I'm sure they're gonna be fine if they do that.
It certainly helps when you have the athleticism of Kuliso Mudau, another of those who were wearing the Bafana colours. Certainly any international defence that had to deal with Ivorian trident of Zaha, Haller and Jonathan Bamba feel prepared. All looking in behind. It's lofted long, but for the moment, no real danger for Williams or the Sundowns. And as you said already, they are in no rush to not waste time.
Yes, yeah, that is what they have to do now, and I've been there before, so I know what is going on there to their mind. There shouldn't be any knock. If there is any knock, I'm sure the player is going to buy time in this game, and that is what they're going to do.
Have you ever played in a game where a teammate's been sent off this early?
Honestly, no. I haven't been in that kind of game, but I've been in games that players get sent off and you need to buy time, and I'm sure Sundowns is going to do exactly that.
Certainly a long look at the clock for the 10 Sundown players out there. For the moment, they haven't faced any danger. And as someone mentioned, just looking to work the ball and make Petro do the running. What a ball through. The flag stays down for now. They don't have large numbers up, but it's quality, not quantity. The flag now finally does go up. Would this be something that would frustrate you as a player, the late flag, or do you understand that VAR changes football somewhat?
I think Sundowns have the ability to score goals. You know, they have the fans behind them. When they went there, they looked like they were playing against 10 against 11, and it should be very, very dangerous for Petro Atletico, because they will keep attacking. They will want to score goals. They will open up, and then Sundowns can capitalize on it. Today doesn't really look better for Sundowns. You can see another player down. I don't know, luck is not on their side today, but it's one of those days that things happen, and how you're gonna approach when the obstacles come.
Sometimes obstacles come all at once, and it is so far being quite the investigation of Sundown's spirit. Wait to see if he's okay to come back on, but the stretcher is for now being enacted. Of course, eating into the clock even this early would be advantageous, but Fosa Modiba now leaves Sundowns down to 9, so it can obviously always work for you. So you would suspect he maybe is injured?
I'm sure there should be a problem with the muscle. I don't know whether it's hamstring or quadriceps, and if it happens, then it's going to be a huge blow. You could see the goalkeeper going down, trying to buy time as well. You know, it's all about the tactic, and I'm sure he's fine right now. You know, so this game is going to be very, very interesting to watch.
Interesting is the right word. We've not seen much football, but it's certainly been an intriguing subplot. And certainly Rowan Williams had quite the first half in the first leg. Of course, saving the penalty was the standout moment, but he'd already made a brilliant save prior to deny Alexander Guedes, and it was a double save, of course, from the penalty. So he kept them in the match, and then he shows his worth when they get a 2-0 win.
Exactly. William, I think he was my man of the match. He kept the team throughout. I think he was my man of the match. He kept the team throughout all the game. Saved the penalty, made an important save. And as a team, you need a goalkeeper like that to keep you going. And that was what he did. He did his job as a great goalkeeper.
Certainly likely to be called upon for a similar performance this evening. 2-0 advantage. Sundowns down to 10 men after the early sending off, just 5 minutes. Vala giving Alexander Santos plenty of hope. But Petros have to convert that hope into a reality. The ball in field, but it just dribbles under the boot of Zawani. Petro taking risks, getting caught out. Canero trying to work back. It's a beautiful ball, and the strike comes in, but it's a fine save by Hugo Marquez.
That was a brilliant move. That was individual brilliance from Leandro, and yeah, he was able to find the target, but the goalkeeper made a brilliant save. You know, you cannot count Sundowns out. They are playing as if they have 11 players on the field. You know, so it's going to be very, very interesting, and they are doing so well right now.
Well, it's a show for exactly why Gaston Leandro Serino was brought back into the side. Had an ankle injury that kept him out between January and August, but the 32-year-old still showing his worth. It was obviously his setup for Tapelo Maseko. The 19-year-old scored after both they came on as substitutes and creating a goal just a minute later. So there are risks for Petro. They couldn't have asked for better opportunities. Carlinhos lifts the ball long, coming together, but the referee perfectly placed to ignore it. Nielsen coming into the side. One of the 4 changes made, but this was the big opportunity. Lovely ball cut in, but the angle just too difficult.
Yeah, it was a great pass from Maseko. He did so well in the first leg of the competition, and he's doing so well right now.
Serino once again finding a pocket of space. His run makes some space. Drilled in, straight into the grateful arms of Hugo Marquez. Certainly looking to make an impact. It was a sore one in the lead up to that by Marcelo Allende, Chilean, along with Serino. Mendieta, who started the first leg, bringing a bit of Latin flair to the Mamelodi Brazilians. Petro just needing to be careful in possession. They've already seen themselves robbed a couple of times. Mamelodi do still have pace and trickery up front to cause them plenty of problems.
Yeah, I think they have the ability. They've got more skillful players. They can keep the ball, and the most important thing is to keep the ball. Have players who can keep the ball, and that is what they are doing now. I don't think they are even feeling that danger right now.
Certainly, it's changed the atmosphere here in Loftus Versfeld Stadium. A festival, and maybe expecting some triumphant performance. Now it's a question of real grit and determination. At the moment, Atletico not giving Rulani Mokoena and the Sundowns enough to worry about for Thiago. To try and play it out. Long ball, certainly going to cause them problems. Sereno, the furthest forward, 22-year-old Uruguayan, certainly be testing that ankle injury he recovered from in August. Carlinhos. Sometimes covering the gaps. It's going to be very difficult for Petro to find those gaps to play through. But they're trying their best, and one man's taken it on himself to drive through. Canito, the centre-back, fancying himself as a striker.
Yes, it will be very, very difficult for Petro Atletico, as you said. You know, they don't have the players that can give that penetrative passes like the way Sundowns have been doing. If they had the players like that, then it's going to be a very, very good thing for them. It looks like one player had to just take the ball through by himself, and when it happens like that, it will be very, very difficult to beat them.
Trying to play through three. The ball breaks kindly though for the home side. And you see the difference between the sides. Could be a very interesting workout for Sundowns, because a match they were expected to maybe win comfortably has now become a bit more tense, and maybe that would actually be something they can use as a positive going forward, as long as they don't let Petro back into the match.
Yes, and the way they are defending has been very, very good. They are defending as a team. When they have the ball, they have their composure, they push the ball. But what I think Petro should do right now is to introduce somebody like Roberto, who can open the lines, who can run a lot. I think he's their best player at the moment right now. And I'm sure if it stands like this in the first half, the coach is going to do an immediate change in the second half.
Do you think it's maybe difficult for a coach to make a change this early? You maybe need a real personality to be direct, because I'm not sure there's many coaches who would be dramatic enough to make a change right after the red card.
You know, sometimes tactically players have to understand, you know, although it will be very disappointing for a player who goes out around, but sometimes the coach has to take responsibility and think, okay, this is how the game is going. Tactically we have to change something, and I'm sure the players will understand. And for me, I think he needs strikers that can open the lines, and that is Gilberto, who runs a lot in the game.
Well, it's a great chance here, and they really can't afford to concede. Thankfully, in main part due to that man advantage, just able to cover things up. There's certainly plenty of athleticism and fitness for Mokoena's Sundowns still out there, and he'll have to use his bench sensibly through the match.
And Moseko has been very, very brilliant. He came on the last time and he scored today. He's the one doing the threats doing the right side. He was able to create a lot of chances for them. And most of the chances that has been created today by Sundowns has been Moseko. And I think he's a huge figure in today's game. He's going to play a very, very important role.
It's very exciting, because considering he's just 19 years of age, signed from Supersport United, and already making an impact when he's come into a huge setup like Sundowns.
Exactly, yeah, he's really made a huge impact, and he's becoming gradually one of the important players in the team in this competition right now.
He's certainly going to be asked to do plenty of running. The ball whips in, flies over the head. Nilsson is nowhere near it. Wetsing, and this is exactly Asamoah was talking about, really just taking the sting out of the match. With that aggregate lead, there is absolutely no incentive to go forward too quickly, but if they can work through the pitch when they're in the final third, they'll of course still look the most likely.
Yeah, I think they are doing exactly what they have to do, and they have, we said earlier, they have the ability, they have the players who have the ability to do that. And look at how many touches they have, and then they have a chance now.
It's incredible Now with 10 men, they've gone from one end of the pitch to the other. And you can see the Mamelodi players, especially after the red card, rushing to the referee. The yellow card clearly was going to be shown by Mustafa Gorbal from Algeria. Serino on the run and then chopped down in his prime.
So far, Mamelodi Sundowns have been dominating. I don't know about the statistics of the possession, but they've been very, very good in terms of keeping the ball. And this is what the coach wants from them. And if they are able to do that, they're going to cause problems for Petro Atletico.
Now look to cause a threat. Hugo Marquez has already been brought into action. 37-year-old looking to keep this clean sheet intact, and he does well to gather cleanly, and now looks to get his side on the front foot and moving. Taking it backwards, Eddie Afonso. Unfortunate to get a free kick against them, but that shows even with 10 men, Sundowns able to press the ball.
Exactly, and Sundowns has been very, very good. They don't feel any pressure since the red card. And if Petro Atletico can play the way Sundowns is playing, move, touch the ball, make sure they dominate possession, it's going to be a different story. But they cannot do that right now, and they are making Sundowns very comfortable.
A long-range effort. We saw Williams already clapping before it had gone behind his goal. That's how to remain calm. And Nielsen trying to make an impact, having come into the starting 11 after being on the bench for the first leg. No risk from the 24-year-old.
I think the coach introduced Van Nielsen just to close in the gap because he's been more defensive, and he's a midfielder. For now, I think the coach has to change tactics to bring more offensive players so that, as we said, he can open the lines, and I'm sure he's going to do that.
I guess the problem is it's time ticking away on Petro's opportunity that looks to have been provided by playing 10 men of the Sundowns. Great protecting of the ball from Captain Zawani. And when you have international class throughout the team at that standard, it makes such a big difference.
Exactly, and they are making a huge difference. You could see they have international players who have been playing together for quite a long time, and the way they are passing the ball, they don't see any danger. Petro Atletico hasn't created any chance since the red card, and it's not looking good for them. If they want to qualify, then they have to take the ball to Sundowns to make sure something can happen.
Alexander Santos on the sidelines, understandably trying to G up his players. This is his first big job. He certainly made a big impact. Back-to-back League and Cup doubles in the Jabola in Angola. And of course, both these sides have Champions League group stages to look forward to at the end of November. Atlético Petróleos taking on the might of Al Hilal, Esperance Tunis. Mamelodi Sundowns group stage with Nouadhibou, Tepe Mazembe, the 5-time winners, and Pyramids FC, slowly but surely pushing their way into prominence within Egyptian football and now on the continent, having previously been great guns in the Confederations Cup.
And one of the interesting things I can see in this game is Williams is also a good footballer. He knows how to play, so it's a huge advantage for them to start their build.
Down when you have a goalkeeper who can, in that sense, join in keeping possession. It's going to be a massive help as we see a very straight back five from the Sundowns. They are no need of chasing the game in this very advantageous position they have.
And that is the problem of Petróleos Atletico, because they don't have the players. They don't have players who can give that penetrative passes, those who can keep the ball. So Sundowns doesn't feel any danger at all, and they also have a goalkeeper. So when it feels like they are 11 against 11 right now, because when they have the ball, they have a goalkeeper who knows how to play, and then look how calm they are possessing the ball, and they look comfortable right now.
It is very classy. The side known as the Brazilians, and they're certainly bringing possessional flair to the adoring fans, who may have felt the worst, as fans will, with a 2-minute red card. But overall, it's Alexander Santos who's fuming on the sidelines.
The coach of Petróleos Atletico is even frustrated right now, because the way they are possessing the ball, you can't keep watching 10 against 11. You have to give it all. Just press high, try and make something happen. Take the risk right now, because you have nothing to lose. Just press high and take the risk. But it looks like they don't want to take the risk right now.
They look like they're confused, because they expected a tough game with 11 against 11, and now it's all changed. They haven't changed with it.
Yes, and exactly what you just said. And I think there should be a huge call from the tactical aspect of Petróleos Atletico.
Well, for now, no change. Certainly no change to the mathematics. But what a ball out from Williams, and it just suddenly has Mamelodi Sundowns bearing down deep in Petróleos Atletico possession. Ball out wide, but it's fired into Zawani. Trying to get away there, in fact, Allende. But how quickly Mamelodi win it back. Guena need to just take it back. They will just slow it down, but the change of pace, they can slow it down, keep possession, but when they get an opportunity to break in the lines in the final third, it's lightning.
Yes, and they have the fans behind them. You know, they've won 2-0. They know at the back of their mind they are already leading, so the confidence level is very, very high. Technically, they are very, very good. I don't think they lack anything right now in this game. All they have to do is just stay focused and make sure they defend also very, very well.
Petro were hoping Mamelodi Sundowns heads would go down. It's been the opposite since Mbala was sent off. They have just seamlessly slipped into patterns of play with 10. That's a better looking ball, but nothing that he could really attack Thiago Asamoah, and it drifts out harmlessly. Is that the right kind of ball they should be playing? It might have been offside, but it's certainly at least trying to be offensive.
At least they should try and make something happen, and that is what they brought Asamoah. He's a clinical finisher. If you watch his stats, he's a clinical finisher. So they try to just close the lines and then have a clinical striker to just get a job done. And everything changed now. So for me, I still think he should bring more offensive players to help him, because they have to take their risk right now. Whether you concede or not, you are down by 2-0 already. You have an advantage with 11 men up. Why don't you take the risk?
Especially the 35-year-old, already celebrated recently 150 goals for the club, but lacking in support in some ways as the lone striker. He looks like he's on the side with 10 men. Petro will hope to continue to believe, and it's a better ball, but Carlinhos is not going to catch that. And asking a lot. I guess we're seeing somewhat, they're not trusting their ability on the ball, so they're looking for that quick ball and that quick reward.
Exactly, that is what they're planning to do right now, because they don't have the players to keep the ball. I think if the coach can bring some more offensive midfield players, some players who can keep the ball and then give that final passes, he should be all right. But it doesn't look like that. They even look like they are with 10 men right now, because of how Sundowns is in possessing the ball and creating a lot of chances.
It is a surprise in some senses, given the quite stunning Champions League run to the semi-finals Petro put together. Although it now is a couple of years ago, he did eventually lose out to Wydad, but they knocked out the Sundowns in the quarter-finals 2021-22 Champions League. We would have loved for a repeat, but it's not looking likely as the Sundowns continue to put the sun down, it seems, on their African Football League hopes.
I love the way Sundowns has been stringing their passes together. They try to put that penetrative passes. That passes, when you put it in, it takes about 3 or 4 players out, and that is what they are doing right now. They try to put the ball in the corridor spaces of the opposition.
Despite being down to 10 men, it's Petro Atlético who look the more tired, the ones chasing. And that surely has to come down to the coaching staff, the way Mamelodi Sundowns have seamlessly managed the situation.
I think, yes, Petro Atlético have to do something right now. They just need to make sure they can stretch a bit of the defense of Mamelodi Sundowns, because you need it. You just have to just stretch them, make sure they work behind. But when you make them feel comfortable like that, then you're going to have a very, very long night.
It is the odd thing as the ball whipped in. A little bit panicked there from Carlinhos. I think he's having to go at his teammates for a lack of a call. Certainly needing helped out. Tries to link with Eddie Afonso. Gets away, and suddenly there's space and opportunity. Thiago Asamoah waiting in the area. There was a late run into the box from Van Nielsen, but Eddie Afonso cut out by Butuil. Moroccan getting across brilliantly. So we see a much more cosmopolitan Sundowns starting 11. Serino from Uruguay, Allende from Chile, Butuil from Morocco. Well, no half measures there from Modiba. If Eddie Afonso might have got the ball out of his feet earlier, as we see 2 balls on the pitch, maybe they could have made a better opportunity. It's the one time we've seen Petro actually break into space.
And it's so amazing how Sundowns have been able to keep their composure. Even when they are in danger, they try to keep possession. They don't lose the ball. And when you have a team like that, it's a very, very good team. Honestly, they've been able to keep their composure. Even their red card down, they've been able to do so well in this first half.
We saw that from the great cover run from Butuil to cut out that one charge on goal. So far the Sundowns might be a man down. They're not being downed on the stats. Williams again not be rushed into action, but with the confidence on the ball, playing it out. Modiba. It's a brilliant long ball. Charging run from Serino. Might need support. Finds the right pass. Zawani wants to have a shot. Elects to play it sensibly back, and then the shot flies in. It's the first real chance we've had in a while. Just flashes wide.
That's the great teamwork. Great team play, the way they string their passes together, the way they move, everything is being so well for Mamelodi Sundowns, and I'm sure I can see them becoming even the favorite in this competition, because they are the only team I've seen so far that has been stringing their passes together and then playing as a team.
Well, he does apologise, but it was a pretty decent attempt. Ball does stay in. As Petro look for a shot of optimism. There's not been much of it despite the red card to Mavala. That's a loose ball. Maybe getting a bit fortunate. There's no free kick. It's slow for Petro to react. to Carneiro. He gets his flick on, but even if he got the head to that, it was going to be an awful lot to produce from the header to try and beat Williams from there.
Honestly, it's been very, very disappointing 35 minutes for Petro Atletico. You are one man up. You should get players forward because you have the advantage. I think they are even more cautious, not conceding. And when you do that, it doesn't look good for you. Maybe they want to just keep the results, or I don't know, to just maybe introduce some strikers in the second half of the game. And I'm sure it's going to happen. And if he keeps on playing like this, I don't think they have a chance.
Well, you did see Thiago Asamoah waving to the players to push up. They can't allow Mamelodi Sundowns to just stand on the ball, pass and move. Sundowns don't look like they're making a sweat.
Yeah, this kind of games, you need to start bullying them. Just bully them. You are one man up, try and heckle, try and press high, try and do something. But it looks like they still stay for Sundowns to play. And when you stay for a team like Sundowns to play, you have a big problem because they will play. They will definitely play. They have a goalkeeper who can even play. So they have all the tools. So you have to just bully them sometimes.
Carlinhos pressing was about the first sign of life we've seen from Petro. They need plenty more of it. The Sundowns again finding a way out. Ball round the corner, not reaching its intended target, but how quickly the Sundowns press is activated from those in forward positions, knowing still players settled at the back. Ignacio Miguel. Seen a bit of Eddie Afonso. Certainly want to push him further on. Cito Carneiro right up as Petro finally looked to be pushing up a little bit, but Thiago Asamoah is still incredibly isolated.
Exactly, he's been very, very isolated. Now all they have to need is to also keep the ball to try and make Sundowns come to them, before they can give the pass. They shouldn't force those passes right now. I think this last 2 minutes of the game, they've been able to keep the ball a bit. They are trying to find their feet. So when they keep on doing like that, they can have some opportunities as they are doing right now.
Desperate for a confidence boost. Fortunately, Thiago Asamoah, the man playing the ball in, he's the one who wants to be on the end of the crosses. But Williams again able to just slow things down, and suddenly, from what was a bright burst of action with the red card, we're now not that far from the half-time whistle. Just under 7 minutes remaining. You'd imagine come the half-time, and once we're back for the second half, Petro are going to have made changes.
And Sundowns is playing very, very intelligent football. You see how they are passing. They make sure they wait for the opponent to get to them to just create that spaces. If they don't come, they don't pass. You see, they just try to bring them and then they pass. And that is very, very intelligent play. They are playing like the way Brighton has been playing with Deserbi. And that is the style they are playing right now.
Is there a pressure, I guess, when you're on the ball you have to make something happen, you have to pass the ball, whereas actually the braver thing to do is hold on to it until someone presses?
I think the coach installed it to them. That's the style of the coach. You need a coach to build that confidence in you, and obviously you also need technical players who can hold on to the ball even when you are in difficulties, and that is what they are doing. It has been a very, very great work by Rolani. He's improved the Sundowns team right now, and they are cruising. They are playing a very, very good football.
It seems a really nice blend between the home players and those who have made South Africa their home for now. The coach of Petro, Alexander Santos himself, on a visit to South Africa on club duty. In the quarter-final against Mamelodi Sundowns, he's beaming about the facilities and the opportunities that he might want to look at in the future as a coach in South Africa. But for now, looking for some answers here the home of the Brazilians. Eddie Afonso looking for a ball over. Wasn't necessarily on, but he still played it, but quickly on his toes. Soares.
At least this is what Petro should do. You know, when you keep the ball and you make the opposition running, they are 10 men, they will get tired and they will start making mistakes. But when you start losing the ball easily for them, when you have the ball, that is when you have the confidence. Even when you are tired and you have the ball, you don't even feel the tiredness unless you lose the ball. So they have to keep the ball, try and knock on the doors of Sundowns, and something can happen. But when you keep losing the ball like that, then you give Sundowns an opportunity to play their normal football.
Well, the yellow card handed out there. Quena, and brandished for late clip on Thiago Azulão. It's Williams and co organising for the set piece, but the referee coming over for a quick word. What about trying to restore some calm? Seems nobody's happy. Certainly the Sundowns supporters booing under the threat. What is a corner kick? Can Petro find something? Well, it's almost come from a mistake. Williams getting in a bit of a fangle. It's a really great defensive header though on the return ball. Was willing to take a hit, and it is a free kick. The wonderfully named Rivaldo Coetzee. Not sure he's got the skills of Rivaldo, but certainly as a centre-back was bang on the money there.
At least he's a centre-back, he has that name.
Long ball over the top. Goalkeeper was smart enough. 37 years old. He's a new pup. Certainly made sure he didn't get himself into real trouble. Petro certainly couldn't be in a position to give up this one-man advantage. Carlinhos. A bit lucky there, it was a bit of a lunge. He was fortunate not to catch more of Zawani. That gets Petro back in possession. Carlinhos now. You look at these stats, it's 4 shots each, but nothing on target until you thought then that was bread and butter for Thiago Azulão. And yet he's missed the target.
And this is why he was brought in to make the finish. You know, but it was a great move from the striker. You could see his movement. It's rather unfortunate he was unlucky there. And sometimes it happens, but that was a good chance. If he had buried it, the game would have changed right now. But it was a great cross also from the right.
It's the rare moment we've seen Sundowns leave huge gaps at the back, and that's the nature of being down to 10 men, that if Petro put them under pressure, drag them about, they'll create spaces and create chances.
Exactly what we were talking about. Just keep knocking on the doors, just keep bullying them, put the ball in the box, you know, keep the ball. You know, now they've started keeping the ball, and you could see Sundowns are feeling it right now. They are they look very tired, and now they are holding on right now. And this is what Petro Atlético should be doing.
Do you sense as a striker, if you haven't had many chances in a match, if a big one comes to you, maybe you don't feel quite as sharp, or does it just depend on the feeling? Yeah,
it depends. You know, when you keep knocking on the doors, the striker will be very active. But when you don't put those balls, and it comes as a surprise. You know, you have to keep the strikers on their toes. Let the ball keep coming. And I'm sure it's one of those things. You know, as an experienced striker, you know, but they should keep knocking on the doors of Sundowns, and the strikers will be very active.
I guess the one question on everyone's lips will be, would GYAN score that chance?
He's one of my weapons. one of my weapons is with the head, and obviously it was a great header. No doubt about his technique. Sometimes it happens. Strikers are meant to miss and then to score. All the same, it was a great header, and lucky that he didn't get a goal.
I'm taking your answers. Yes, you would have buried it. Well, we're into injury time at the end of the half. Petro finally appear to have woken up to the massive opportunity that's been afforded to them after the early dismissal of Mvala. It'll be interesting to see. They've surely not only making changes, but they can't drop from this level of performance in the second half.
Of course, Sundowns shouldn't drop. I'm sure the coach is going to have a couple of changes because they've been very, very exhausted. He's going to be bringing more midfield players who can hold the ball. And now it's left with Petro Atletico to have that huge call to bring players in the box, more offensive players that can keep knocking. If you concede a goal, it's a risk that you've taken because you are 2-0 up and you are playing on away. So you just need to try and bring more offensive players.
So it is as we edge towards the end of the half. Mamelodi Sundowns maintaining their 2-0 first leg advantage with what was their first win on assignment in Angola. It's certainly not been a walk in the park, but some have certainly come to leave plenty of style. For the moment, despite being a man down, Sundowns remain on course for the semi-finals. Petro certainly be looking for much more from the second half as they chase the dream of turning this around.
Petro Atletico needs just a goal for now to be able to have that confidence to keep believing. But if they don't get a goal for now, then it's going to be very, very difficult for them.
Well, they're coming together there. Serino, that's not what you want when you're down to 10 men. They'll be happy to see a colour yellow. And it all got a little bit heated there. And everyone's got an opinion.
That was a silly yellow card right now. You're already down by 10 men, and then look at what he's doing. And at this stage of the game, you could let your team down. Fine, one man can be all right, but if you go down with 2 men right now, then you are in deep trouble.
It's certainly, I think yellow card is more than enough, but I mean, there are referees that seeing a hand up might produce a red.
Yes, and I'm sure tactically Rolani is not going to take that risk. I'm sure there are going to be some changes. Serrano can be even substituted right now because the coach work will be very, very difficult. You cannot afford to lose another player in this kind of games.
Do you think that as much as Sundowns have been for the most part comfortable, obviously they are tiring, and do you think that kind of extra work they're having to do means the level of frustration can come out like we saw from Serino?
Yes, now Serino is an attacker. Strikers don't like to run that much, so I think he's gonna try and take him out with his tactical and then bring more offensive midfielder who can make that penetrative run. Now you need players who can run, players who can defend in this kind of games.
Fairness to Serino, he hasn't looked like he's had any ill feeling from that ankle injury, but certainly his temperament and, as mentioned, with other options, he may be a player we might not see for the second half. But there's plenty of intrigue for this break coming. What sides will re-enter the field for what is going to be potential barnstorming second half? It's certainly going to be a knockout, because one of these sides will leave the African Football League. But at the moment, despite being down to 10 men, Mamelodi Sundowns, with a goalless half-time scoreline, maintain their 2-goal advantage from the first leg. The half-time break, Mamelodi Sundowns 0, Petro de Luanda 0. Well, how would you sum that up, Asamoah? That was quite an interesting first half.
Yeah, to be fair, Mamelodi Sundowns have proved their worth. You know, they've been able to keep their results. You know, they've been able to run as a team. And Atlético, I think they dominated in the last stages of the first half right now. And if they can continue and bring more offensive players, the game is going to be very, very interesting. And obviously, Rolani has got a huge task ahead of him. I think he's going back to the drawing board. There'll be a lot of things going on through his mind, and both coaches have got a lot of huge tasks ahead of them. Tactically, this game can be won by the two coaches right now.
Well, they're still keeping their spirits high. Whether there'll be far more nail bites for the Brazilians, we'll have to wait and see. But for the moment, Sundowns are still smiling, and there is the carrot of a semi-final in the Maiden African Football League with Al Ahly after they got through against Simba. You were saying, Asamoah, that so far you've seen all the teams in the competition. Mamelodi Sundowns are just giving you a feeling that they could go all the way.
I think so. The way they are playing, the way they keep possession, you know, confident on the ball. Although they've not have some good forward players who are more clinical, but the way they are playing as a team. Everything is going on well for them. I think they look more lively in this competition, and obviously I think they can get to the semi-finals, and when they get to the semi-finals, they are going to play Al Ahly, which is going to be a very, very good game.
So we'll wait to see if we get that fixture, or can Petro pull off a real cracker. Will join us for the second half. For now, it's goalless in Pretoria. So Mamelodi Sundowns held a 2-goal advantage after the first leg in Angola. What an occasion that was. But just 2 minutes into this one, a real change to the script potentially. And it was a sending off for Motobi Mvala. He went in for the ball, he got none of it, and Thiago Azulão back in the starting lineup, making an immediate impact for Petro. Veteran Brazilian, if he was hoping to get Petro back into the match with his goals, they didn't see much action. Instead, it was the Sundowns who were looking most likely. They were still the better in possession, creating opportunities. Maseko in particular, who scored the second goal in the first leg. The 19-year-old getting a start. He was certainly a bright spark. Finally, Petro started to try and pepper the goal of Williams. Not enough, good enough ball for Thiago Azulão to attack. South African international goalkeeper able to let it just drift out. There was danger for Petro, who could not afford to concede. Had already 2 goals down in the tie. Zawani wanted the shot, smartly playing back. Then a fabulous fired shot from Mudau. He did apologise for it, but he wasn't far away. Well, the goal would be curtains, surely, for the visiting Angolan champions. Carlinhos, though, with a brilliant ball. And how Thiago Asamoah would love that chance back. At the half-time break, it's goalless. Can Petro make the man advantage count in the second half? So welcome back ahead of the second half, this second leg of the quarterfinals of the new African Football League. An introduction to the best 8 the continent has to offer. Next year will be a more exciting 24-team league. But at the moment, in the here and now, Rulani Mokoena is doing his work to inspire his side. Rulani taking on the messages as they go through pre-second half warm-up, and we'll wait to see what changes are afoot. And still alongside me, GYAN, and you would expect to see changes, if not from the Sundowns just yet. It has to come from Petro.
Definitely, I'm expecting a change from Petro Atlético, if immediately or even maybe when the game starts, maybe like after 5 minutes or something. But definitely there should be a change from both sides.
It did look like in the tunnel, Anderson Cruz looked stripped and ready for duty. We'll wait to see if it's just the substitutes returning to the bench or if the fourth official is going to raise his board. This is always the point of getting the binoculars out and trying to see which numbers are in play. But of course we'll get confirmation as soon as possible. It does look like might have Alexander Guedes heading on. So you sense the changes of foot as they come to the side. So Alexander Guedes, who had chances in the first leg, is going to be joined by the man who missed the penalty, exactly who Juan was asking for, even from his co-com position. And coach Alexander Santos has heard the call. Van Nielsen, who came in, as you suggested, he was going to be a bit more of a sitting player, and now they're bringing on the attacking reinforcements.
I think that was a good call from Santos. You know, we were expecting this from the first half. You know, you just need to bring more offensive players, more offensive midfield players that can be able to knock on the doors of the opposition, and that is what we see right now. You need to just take a risk, and it can happen, it can never happen. So just take the risk, put more offensive players, because you need more offensive players playing 10 against 11.
So Anderson Cruz, joined by Alexander Guedes, as well as Jonathan Rubio Toro and Gilberto. It is all guns blazing for Petro. They have their African Football League destiny in their hands, but they have to grab hold of it, as they are 2 goals down, but they do have a man advantage as the second half gets underway. It's going to be fascinating to see how this half contrasts with the first, and we're already seeing it. Toro with his first touch, chance to deliver. They'll have a corner, and straight away the changes are making a difference.
Yeah. This kind of games, you just need offensive players. You know, you don't have to think about defending anymore, because you have 10 men, 11 men against 10. You know, so all you have to do to attack, and that's what we're seeing right now. So
Toro to deliver, swung into a good area, but it's Kwetse who heads away. Now you can see the 4 changes, so he might have waited till half-time. Alexander Santos certainly not mucking about at the start of this half. So the Sundowns, for the moment, remaining as they were, even despite the late booking of Serino. Obviously, linchpin Mokoena has also received a yellow card, and they certainly can't afford to go down any further than the 10 they have just now.
I think Santos should have made that changes in the first half, just to try and get a goal, and then the second half you think about another goal. You know, but he waited till the second half, which he did the right call. But for me, he should have done that earlier.
Do you find that if obviously the players coming on, it's going to take them a little bit of time to acclimatise, and if you had done that in the first half, maybe they come out in the second half and hit the ground running.
Definitely, and the game plan is just to put the opposition on the back foot, you know, to make them defend, to make them get tired. And when they get tired, they start making mistakes. And right now, they're holding on, and we have 50 minutes to go, but I thought it should have been that earlier.
That's it already. Not the worst mistake, but certainly a corner conceded. Petro piling on the pressure. Williams comes, that's a terrific take under pressure. And down he goes, down he'll stay. Under no illusions that the clock running it down is Sundown's best friend. He's clashed with his own player, but Modiba clearly doing the damage. Williams started his career as a youth player at Spurs. 12 years at Supersport before joining the Sundowns last year. Kept a clean sheet on his debut against Cape Town City. A second clean sheet in this tie would certainly see the Sundowns safely through. Quena scratching his head. So far, he's been getting the calls right.
I also saw Nyango having a warm-up there. He's one of the best goalkeepers in Africa right now. You could see they have the tools in the bench, you know, so they don't need to worry.
Certainly Dennis Nyango, 38 years young, the Ugandan, highly experienced, and they did use 3 different goalkeepers for their 2 penalty shootout losses in the Cups and in this. So they certainly do have a very strong, healthy squad, which provides great competition as he just tries to stay on side. May have done, but the ball ran through for Marquez. When you see a big squad like the Sundowns, that's another challenge for a coach. How do you keep everyone happy and excited to do the work if they might not get time on the pitch?
This is where the coach shows his personality, how he shows his skills. You know, when you have options like that, you know, everybody wants to play, and you are in a big team. And this shows how skillful you can be as a coach, how to mentally get into the player's head, make sure you bring everybody together. It's a very, very huge task when you're managing big players. And Rolani, I think he has done a great job. The players love him, and he's a great man, as I said, off and on the pitch. And you could see the connection they have with the coach. They've given him the chance. He's young. Even though Onyango is older than the coach right now, you know, but you could see they respect him and he respects the coach, and that connection is there. So when you have a team like that, everything goes well for you.
Well, we heard a cry. Certainly was some contact, but it seemed that Mudau was fighting Alexander Lacazette for loudest scream on a football pitch, though Lacazette, of course, doing it during COVID. Thankfully, raucous crowd here in Loftus Versfeld Stadium. Unfortunately, despite the cry of Mudau, he's fit enough to be complaining that there's not a free kick. But Maseko's happy to get on with things. Not back on the pitch, of course, has to wait. Now will be waved on. As Petro look to try and force this man advantage. They're certainly making the Sundowns work harder at the start of this half than they did for the majority of the first period. Now with Pedro Pinto. Quicker ball, maybe a little too quick, but they will get the throw. Anderson Cruz goes back. Totally different energy about Petro in this second half. Clearly the changes, but also what the coaching staff must have said at the break is the turn from Cruz. You can see the urgency that has finally penetrated the psyche of Petro. Can they make it count?
Yeah, they feel a sense of urgency, but when they have the ball, they are slow. When the ball goes out, they just sprint for the ball, and it's not going to help you. When you have the ball, let the passes move quickly so that the opposition doesn't settle in, and their build-up is very, very slow. But when the ball goes out, you see them sprinting to pick the ball, so you don't feel the sense of urgency.
It's certainly making it difficult to pull Mamelodi out of their bunker. Of course, at 2-0, you can see Pedro Pinto is taking a long time on the ball turning, and that allows the Sundowns to get back into position. Better ball down the line. Gilberto using those long legs to stretch out. He's got two up against him, but he's done enough for a corner. Well, this was the man you were calling for, and he's certainly already made a positive impression.
Yes, he was a contender of the man of the match last time. Although they lost the game, I think he was one of the best players on the field, despite the penalty miss and everything. He should have even started the game. I didn't know, maybe that was the coach's tactical play.
Toro with the ball in. It's clearly some kind of sign as he hugged his own shoulders. Didn't come off. Suarez. Well, he's looking, but with shrug. Not really sure what he was supposed to hit. Go back again to Anderson Cruz. The moment playing the quarterback role. Just his whole expression shows a level of urgency and desire to see a better level of performance. Gilberto round the corner. He gets the ball back. Now a chance to deliver. Just showed too much of it, and it was good defending from Mudau. The ball goes all the way back to Pedro Pinto. Shifts from left to right. Instead changes the angle. Canero swings it deep, but far too deep. Well, the reaction of Thiago, I imagine, is one you've made to a few teammates in the past.
For me, it's been very, very frustrating for Petro Atlético. Although they bring in the forwards, you know, they put in Sundowns on their back foot, but they need that execution. They need something to happen. They should even get shot on target, you know, just to get their confidence level high. But it seems like it's not working for them right now.
Certainly in form domestically. Before the first leg, Os Tricolores had lost just one in their last 10 and won 4 in all competitions, in part qualifying for the group stages of the Champions League. But the Sundowns, completely different beast. And really, at the moment, as things stand, it looks like Petro lost that tie, or will lose this tie from not scoring in that first half. The penalty and the other chances that Williams denied them.
Yeah, exactly, and that is where they should be very, very disappointed. As we said earlier, they should have even won the game in the first half of the first leg, but it couldn't happen. You know, thanks to Williams, he was able to save his team. You know, and this is a different story. Now you have a chance. First minute of the game, you have a red card. What else do you need? Just keep pushing, just keep shooting, just keep bullying the opposition, and we are not seeing it right now. If it ends like that, nobody should be blamed. They should blame themselves if things go this way.
Certainly no one will be surprised if the Sundowns make it through, but as I was saying, they've not had it all their own way, but Petro haven't made it count in the big moments, and at the moment they're keeping ball, but they're 2 goals down. Canero back to Pedro Pinto, who's maybe seeing a bit too much of the ball, but that's understandable. The Sundowns not interested. There's a chance to move forward into the gap. That's better though. Anderson Cruz, it's a really good ball across, comes to Toro. Block was brave. And a first real bright spark. They certainly need more of that kind of energy and purpose.
Exactly, that is what they need. They just need to get into the box, try to make things happen. And it looks like it takes a long time before it happens. This should be very, very consistent, because you keep repeating it. You have 11 men on the field. Just keep on knocking on the doors and something might happen. But if it happens once in 10 minutes, then you're out of the game.
This seems to be the risk Alexander Santos took by not making changes earlier. Because they're having to change how they're playing as Sereno took his chance with a sight of goal. Actually for him, couldn't hit the target. This was the effort from Toro. Brilliant defending, bodies on the line. Sundowns defending this clean sheet with their lives. There was a goal for Sereno since his return from injury. Last minute equaliser in the League Cup first round against TS Galaxy. They'd come from 2-0 down, and in that game they'd actually had Zungo sent off. In the end, Galaxy advancing on penalties, just as happened. Mamelodi Sundowns lost out to the Orlando Pirates in the 8 Cup final. And the Pirates have now won that 2 on the trot. It's a rare competition domestically. The Sundowns haven't dominated, having won the last 6 national titles, 16 in total. What they really want is continental glory. 2016 they were the African champions. Ball swung in. Again comfortable. Cries for a handball. Took a bit of time, but eventually I think the referee getting maybe help from his fellow officials. What would you say? Shoulder, chest?
It's very, very difficult. I think he just stretched his hands, and that made it very, very easy for the referee to whistle. But that's the referee's decision. So it's a 50-50 call, and anybody can make a decision out of this situation.
Sort of the grey area of the handball, given the hand is somewhat connected to the shoulder and the chest, so
exactly
you can understand why he was. And there weren't many complaints, in fairness, from Anderson Cruz.
Exactly.
Eddie Afonso, ball down the line. It's a neat turn, but it's great fighting from Zawani. Captain leading by example. And Modiba helping out Okoena. Oh, he's shown too much of that. He's hoping for a free kick. Might say he's a little lucky. Oh, you get the feeling that Suarez wasn't in agreement with the referee's decision.
The most important thing is they should keep on moving forward and scoring. For me, they haven't done enough to win the game. They have to make sure they keep fighting, they keep knocking on the doors, as they should keep insisting, but it doesn't look like it, and it's quite frustrating.
Dancing feet from Maseko. He may have not got the decision, but Toro couldn't keep it in. Well, the coach is happy, Mulani Mokoena. As mentioned, 2 penalty defeats, 2 cup competitions. And it's a lottery when it comes to the spot kicks, and if that's 2 of your 3 defeats in your previous 49 matches as a coach, that's quite incredible. Yeah,
quite incredible, and he should be proud of his boys. You know, they gave him a project, and then they believe in his project, and that is what is happening. I'm sure this year, even in the CAF Champions League, they're going to do very, very well, I'm sure.
Maybe the surprise, given they reached all the way to the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League last season. Their actual only defeat in 2023 and under Mokoena was away at Stellenbosch in a cup match back in mid-April. Otherwise, they have been near perfect. And defensively, they've so far been on point. And they're now just under 30 minutes plus stoppage time away from a semi-final date. A mouth-watering one it would be against Al Ahly. Petro have got to start throwing the kitchen sink at this. Losing your concentration in possession is not the way to do it. And we did talk about this. They've come on at half-time and they're still not quite really at it, and had they come on earlier.
And sometimes the strikers get frustrated when they are there and the ball doesn't come. You know, this should be the work of the midfielders. Just insist, make sure you get the ball there, let the defenders work. They all should be tired. But when you start giving that square passes and making the opponent very, very comfortable, then I don't think you have a chance of winning the game. You don't win a football match like the way they are playing.
How difficult is it for a team when they're on the road? Coming all the way to South Africa, is that an added challenge? But you would still expect them to, with the man advantage, have been better?
For me, I think they came there with a defensive-minded to make sure Standard makes mistake to make sure they get a goal. But luckily, everything changed. Now you have the opportunity in the early stages of the game. You brought in strikers. Feed the strikers. It's like you have a Ferrari and then you park it somewhere and then you're not using it, and it's very, 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 very frustrating.
Asamoah waiting for them to rip the engine open and hit top gear. There's no sign of it yet from Petro, and the fans are celebrating to the beat of the drum. They certainly would have wanted a festival of goals, but they will certainly take a really gritty and determined draw. But now Petro with the chance. If it had got to Anderson Cruz, wonderful covering defending from Mado, and now there's a break. If he's onside, it's 1-on-1. Zawadi to finish the tie. Fabulous save. The veteran goalkeeper. The flag, I think, now has gone up. Well, that was tight. Well, his chance went, so I don't think they'll complain too hard. But had he put it in the back of the net, that certainly would see VAR bring out the line draw. But given the fact the goal wasn't scored, it's become a less controversial decision.
The game is becoming very, very interesting now, and this is what I want to see. One chance here, one chance there, and then for me, I still think Petro Atletico should make this game very, very lively, because they are one man up and they are not doing the right things, and I'm sure they should be very, very disappointed if the game ends like that.
I guess, as you said, they came with a game plan. We're going to stay tight, maybe we'll nick a goal, and suddenly the red card comes, and some teams and coaches won't have the ability to react to what's happening.
Exactly, and that shows that personality. Maybe Santos has his game plan already. I'm not the coach, but I feel like he should have brought off more offensive players immediately, because things changes. When your tactic changes, the players do understand, although they might get a bit upset for taking them out early in the game, but it's part of the game. When we win, the team wins. So for me, I think he should have done that a bit earlier by bringing more offensive players.
Better to go out with a brave performance, and they're trying to be more offensive, but it's a bit of a struggle. Now, rare touch really for Alexander Guedes, was one of the 4 changes. It's really great on the ball from Modiba. He's managed to buy his side not just a throw but a breather. Cruz Anderson switching to the right flank, not finding any more joy just yet. Zulao went across, but oh, it's wonderful. Dancing feet happy with those moves on the dance floor.
I think they should have bullied the Mamelodi Sundowns players, because this is where you should get enough fouls.
So Temba Zawani has run his race, and he might have had a goal that might have got VAR drawing the lines. Referee making sure he passes on the armband, and Williams making sure he's out of his goal to see him off. That's very nice. I'm sure he's not thinking about the clock. Well, everyone wants to say goodbye, but it has been, in all seriousness, a fine performance. He's been up on his own, and yet he still linked things and made a telling contribution.
I think it's a serious moment. It's a very, very difficult moment for them, and every player should congratulate each other for being in the very, very difficult position like that.
So also heading on alongside Mendieta. It's no surprise that Serino, but just before the end of the half, heading off, and it's final part of the match for 27-year-old Leseba William Inku. Another in his first campaign with Mamelodi, having joined in the summer from Marumo Gallants, who had a gallant performance in the Confederations Cup, just falling short. A season that saw them relegated from the South African top flight, getting his chance in the final part of this match, and it still remains a mountain to climb for Petro Atletico. They are 2 goals down despite a man advantage. They're needing something soon. You have to believe. Belief at the moment seems in short supply. Sid Cruz with a good ball in. Just flicks away from Gilberto. It will be a corner. Had it been a little lower, he might have had the simple task of heading home.
And this is what I was expecting. You know, something should happen in their box every time. There might be a mistake or something. Just make sure you do something offensively. Make them defend, put them on the back foot, and something can happen.
Something is happening. A handball provides a free kick, a little bit closer than the corner kick they might have had. Cross blocked from Canero. Now, much more dangerous angle for Mamelodi to deal with. Toro over this. Is there going to be something to really light up this match? Williams so far unbeaten in this quarter-final tie. Toro over it. One of the 4 cavalry sent on at half-time. Swings it in. Good defensive header. Scramble for Eddie Afonso. Puts it back in. And finally, it may have been comfortable, but it is a clear Williams save.
Yeah, this is what Petro Atletico should be doing. You know, just put the ball in the box, make the defense, let them work. There can be a second ball, there can be something. But if you don't put the ball in the box, you're not going to get a goal. And it's good what they are doing right now. I hope it wouldn't be too late, but they should keep on insisting, and they have nothing to lose.
They've got certainly a lot to gain if they can. Well, it's a. Well, I was going to say it's a bit dramatic, but it is still going to be a booking and a free kick. I think there was the foul before when Gilberto realised he wasn't going to get to the ball. Made the referee make a decision. Well, I think Pedro Pinto and co would like another red card.
that is what they feel like. Yeah, they have to get into the referee's head a bit. You know, sometimes it happens in a game. You know, sometimes you have to put pressure, and it's one of those things. He's very, very experienced and he knows what he's doing, but the referee is very, very experienced, and he knows what he's doing as well.
Never harm to ask, but certainly it seemed like it seems a little coming together rather than he's really taking him out, as we saw in the second minute with Mvala. So just yellow cards. Another set piece. Decisions to be made. It's quite central.
I think there is something from the training grounds. The way they are standing, and you could see 3 players on the left and then 2 on the right. I think there should be something from the training grounds.
See if Petro have something up their sleeve. They're being made to wait. Not exactly sure why, but Suarez more time to think over the potential training ground plan. Not sure. There's no indication there's a VAR check in order, unless they were reviewing the challenge. The referee is standing and waiting.
Or maybe there could be an offside position or something.
Waiting to see. Did you enjoy any good training ground set piece operations that bore fruit?
Yeah, we did enjoy. I think our qualify to the Brazil 2014, I think we scored like 6 goals from set pieces.
We'll see if Petro can do something here. And that, you could see they tried something. In fact, it didn't work.
Yes, you could see something from the training grounds. They planned to do something, just that it didn't work out. As you said, sometimes the coach can bring something up, and obviously it can work on the pitch.
Well, that's a new one. We've certainly heard of shirts being asked for, but goalkeepers have their fans too, and a pair of gloves would do nicely.
Yeah, you can see they love him. They love him. He's been wonderful for the club, and obviously he should get a fan base. They're asking for his gloves, which is very, very huge good for him. At least when he's working, he knows he's got a lot of fans who are behind him.
That shows what an impact he's made, having only been at the club just over a year. And certainly, if for nothing else, his first leg performance would be worthy of getting that adulation. Goena. I think maybe a little bit hopeful. Guedes demanding a throw. Well, you'd think there'd be a lot of tension, but the Sundown fans look very cool and collected.
Yeah, they look very cool because Petro has given them the chance to be celebrating, because they don't look that dangerous. Although they've brought in offensive players, but they still don't look dangerous, and there's nothing to worry about. And it's obvious they can enjoy their dancing.
So they should. But yeah, for Petro, it's been little moments of some worry, but as you said, it's not been that wave after wave of attack and danger, but maybe there might be some here. Gilberto swinging the ball in. They're waiting on it. Goetze then coming across, but it is a foul given. It's the Moroccan Boutouil. Looks like he is caught on the ankle. A little bit of discomfort. Young and old out to support the Sundowns. Just a slight coming together there. Abdel Munaim Boutouil helped Union Saint-Gilloise return to the Belgian top flight in 2021. The same year, he was a GYAN champion with Morocco. Of course, winning South African Premier Division title in his first campaign. Roberto, certainly an exciting player, but sometimes a little bit loose with the ball. Right through the back of Anderson Cruz. Now, if he was a Sundown player, he would have stayed down, but Petro need goals. Straight back up.
Of course, he says it a sense of urgency right now, and he hasn't got so much time to lose. You know, so they have to just get up and go.
Getting up and getting on. Another change. Rivaldo, who also played in the first leg as a substitute, as Marquez shows great calm and composure, looking for the same from his team. A flick round from Eddie, desperate to get back on with things. So just 15 minutes for Rivaldo in the first leg. He's got a little bit less than that as we're really hitting crunch time. And despite very few moments where Petro have looked a bit better, Sundowns are somewhat walking it into the semi-final unless there's a grandstand finish.
To be fair, I think Petro have dominated the second half, but it hasn't been that effective so much. And if you dominate possession without any effective move in front of goal, then I don't think it's that important for a team. I'll be very, very disappointed if they don't get a goal, but Sundowns have defended solidly well. They've moved as a team, and I know it's very, very difficult at the moment. They'll be tired right now, but they've been very, very good defensively.
Just somehow only now just noticed the wonderful two coloured boots. Manson Cruz as Guedes, his sighted goal, and he does send an apology, but they could have done with maybe more efforts on goal, even from distance.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of shots on target, which I'm very, very worried about with 10 against 11. I'm sure the coach will be very, very upset. You know, with my experience, when you have 10 men, one man up, and you don't have shots on goal, the coach really, really gets upset. What else do you need?
Certainly will have a chance, Xander Santos, Petro, to maybe put things right if things don't change when they face up in the group stage of the CAF Champions League. Not drawn with the Sundowns, so there won't be an early return to Pretoria. Certainly finding it uncomfortable. We're also seeing from the fact the amount of attacking changes. Anderson Cruz, is he playing right at the back, trying to curl a ball round for Gilberto, but so little margin for error, it's just drifted out.
I think it was a very, very difficult ball to play. Obviously, he's a left-footed player. He tried to use his right foot, and he just lose the ball so easily like that. This kind of games, you shouldn't lose the ball. Just keep the ball. Make sure you keep possession. You have one man up, and if it becomes like that, then you're giving opposition time to rest. And now you can see a player down. They're gonna buy time. They're gonna rest, keep their energy up, and then they'll start keeping the ball.
Enjoying the coaching staff looking angry when they'll be delighted they're eating into the clock further.
It will be very good for Sundowns team to just have their players resting, and it will be very frustrating for Petro Atletico right now.
So Allende, so I should say, the 24 Chilean, earning that free kick. Energetic running again, full of it, the teenager. Maseko couldn't hold on to it. It's a bit better, a bit quicker. Looping ball, but it's so well dealt with. Modiba just nodding it back. Williams just happy to take as many seconds in. Thiago Asamoah quickly on him, but he can still eat in to the clock in just over 8 minutes of the 90 regulation to play. Just the one defeat for Rulani Mokoena in 90 minutes back in mid-April. It doesn't look like, despite his team being down to 10 since the second minute of the match, it doesn't look like he's going to add another defeat unless Petro, it might be a Pyrrhic victory if they can't find two, but they'd want to at least come away with a victory at the home of the Sundowns. Gilberto screaming for a free kick while also trying to win the ball. It's looping. Williams watches it carefully, eagle-eyed, catching it on his line.
I still feel football can be dramatic sometimes, but the way the things are moving, I don't know, maybe things can change in the later stages of the game, but I still, the way Petro Atletico is playing, I still don't have that belief, but I hope so. I hope everything goes well.
I get very exciting. You never quite know, certainly on the passage of play from the previous 82 minutes or so. It's understandable why it feels a forlorn effort for Petro. But they, on the pitch, have to keep believing.
Yes, and then sometimes in football games like that, this time you don't need a coach. You need your mentality. You need that strong mentality. And even after the game, the coach will say, hey, this didn't come from me. You know, take a responsibility sometimes. Take risks sometimes. And Petro is not doing that.
No, and then, despite pointing at the ball, Anderson Cruz penalised for the foul on Maseko. And he came on in the first leg. He scored a minute later. But have you been impressed with him, seeing him from the start? He's now played at least 83 minutes of this match.
At least he started the game. When they went one man up, he was able to do some individual skill to lay off some passes. Defensively, he's been very, very good. He's using his athleticism, and he should be proud of his performance right now, because he's been working so hard for the team, tracking the ball back, and now his time is up. He has to go out. Good call from the coach. He needs to protect his players to make sure they have the fresh energy, and he doesn't feel, because Rolani doesn't feel any danger, so he's on a cruise right now, and kudos to how they've been defensive today.
Well, Gilberto wanted to help Maseko off. That only wasted a little bit more time. As Rice is run, Allende also heading off. Chance for the final few minutes for Bongani Zungu, 31-year-old, sent off against TS Galaxy. Match they lost on penalties in the League Cup. Getting the final minutes to just see this contest out. And what a missed opportunity, you would think, Asamoah, for Alexander Santos and Petro. When they look back at this, they'll have some real regrets.
Yeah, they will have some real regret, but this is football for you. You need to think about the next step. Although they had their moment, they couldn't convert it. And this is football for you. Rolani went there with that game plan of keeping the ball, making sure he kills the game in the final stages of the game. And then he was able to do it tactically. You could see in the first leg, at the later stages of the game, he started bringing offensive players to make sure they kill the game, and that's what they did tactically. And today, things has been different for Petro Atletico and Sundowns, and we are witnessing a different game altogether. But honestly, I'm very disappointed with Petro Atletico not being able to have enough shot at goal. Goals scoring is very difficult, but at least you need to get shot at goal when you are one man up.
Yeah, I guess the point is, it's not that they haven't scored or they haven't won the game, but you're just saying in terms of actually creating risk, creating drama, there's not been that sense of something dramatic happening.
Exactly so.
Well, is there one final roll of the dice? As football often throws up surprises you didn't see coming, but it's hard to make an argument for it. Suarez switch, but they've got bodies forward now. They're not able to find them. And these are the moments that kill you as a footballer, I'm sure. The referee's hand pointing the other way. This throw, surprised almost, it did come back in relatively quickly. It's broken kindly. It's a lovely flick round the corner, very unfortunate. didn't get to the recipient.
And now, when a game goes like that, the opposition who has been defending will have more confidence. They feel like, okay, now the time is up. Let's try and do some offensive work. And you might never know. Sundowns can even come back and get a goal in this game.
I suppose it's interesting because if Petro haven't made the Sundowns feel tired, then your fatigue is not going to feel the same when you've got the 0-0. You're not in stress. And so, as you say, you can suddenly actually think, I could win this.
Yes, exactly, because they've not been keeping the ball. They haven't made Sundowns work a lot like the way they want to do now, you know. But I feel like Sundowns can try something offensive in the later stages of the game because they feel like now we got them.
This could be their opportunity. The other substitute who came on, Moussa Lebusa, not quite on the wavelength with Williams. A swipe at the ball, just wanted to make sure. And happier to set up for the corner kick. There hasn't been any suggestion of a real threat, but it would be some moment as Santos shows exactly what type of corner he wants taken. Can Toro provide a grandstand finish? Well, a goal here would certainly make things very interesting.
Exactly. They need just a goal to make things very, very interesting. And that is what they are struggling to get.
Well, Pinto, he bent down to head it, but it had already been cleared. Sundowns doing well to clear their lines. Anderson Cruz up high in the Pretoria sky, and a free kick just sucks all the life out of the Angolan champions' cause.
I'm hoping to see how many minutes they're gonna put us at a time.
It's going to be interesting. We've had the substitutes. We've had some players down, but overall there's not been a major amount of stoppages other than the odd moment before the free kick where we had a bit of a pause. So will there be some kind of encouragement for Petro before the final whistle? Before then, well, they could have been in big trouble. Almost looked like Marquez was in a bit of an uncomfortable position, but did palm it away. Did make his debut in the Champions League for the club against Cape Town City in qualifying for the group stage this season in a 4-0 aggregate win. But they're not looking like getting any joy from Cape Town's South African rivals, with Mamelodi Sundowns looking to play out the final minutes and stoppage time we may have. And they're doing it with confidence. They're doing it with that Brazilian flair. Of course, a nickname befitting of a club in yellow with blue shorts. And it's 8 minutes. Is that what you expected to see?
It's quite interesting right now, but I don't still feel any danger for Sundowns. Now they have their confidence. Now they will try and keep the ball to buy time, and that is what they are doing right now.
Down the line, and they'll be happy with that. Little flick of the boot, and we've seen a couple of times from Mendieta. Came on for Zawani and held up the ball well, the 30-year-old from Corrientes in Argentina. In fact, was signed from Stellenbosch, who were the last side to beat the Sundowns in regulation time. While they have the time, Petro, I don't think anymore have the belief that they can do likewise. 3 black shirts around. Now playing the role of ball boy, Toro. Neither the Sundown players, the ball boys or the staff are in any rush, as one of the players who lost his place in the starting 11 now getting still a healthy 7.5 minutes, despite, or 6.5 minutes, showing the change in additional time. Modern football, 27-year-old Safelele Makalise.
Yeah, Makalise was also involved in the last game. You know, they went away. They wanted to be more compact as midfield, and now they want to maintain the result. So it's a good change for Sundowns, and they are cruising. They are cruising, and there's no any danger for them. Anybody at all can even play without any danger.
Well, that's it. It's not just a case of the Sundowns would love to go through this match without defeat, but even a 1-0 defeat will mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, definitely. But you have 8 minutes. You cannot afford to concede a goal now. If not, the game can change. So I like the way they are keeping their composure to make sure they keep the ball, buy some time till the end of the game.
You can see the finishing line, and Al Ahly are in the distance, but not yet confirmed. Looks the safe bet for the first ever semi-final clash of this African Football League. What a cracker that would be. Of course, the other quarter-final ties still to be played. Tepe Mazembe with a 1-goal lead to protect, and they travel to Tunis to face Esperance. Wydad Casablanca also with a slender 1-0 advantage to protect at home against Nigerians Enyimba. But it's Mamelodi Sundowns who are looking to take their place in the last 4. They're getting a bit heated. Petros feeling this missed opportunity. These fans don't look like they've had a worry all night long. Marquez need it forward, but he's looking maybe for a bit of movement. Wasn't necessarily looking for the movement to be right into the face of Labusa.
I think there is a bit of frustration there right now. When it happens like that, the players get frustrated and then they start doing unnecessary challenges and stuff. You know, it's part of football.
Smart as well from Labusa. Still in a good position, but took the contact. It's more frustration for visiting Atlético Petróleos de la Anda. We're going to head back to Angola, thinking of this quarter-final tie in its entirety and the missed opportunities. Of course, that first leg, first half penalty missed by Gilberto now looks even more of a big missed opportunity.
I think it's going to have a huge impact on him psychologically. Yeah, but this is it's part of the game. You know, I've been there before as a striker. You know, when you feel like you let your colleagues down, you know, it's up to him to lift up his spirit and make sure he's a good player. He's the one making things happen, and it's one of those things. You know, he needs to put himself together and be the player he is.
Here he is. Imagine that's the point, that missing chances is part of football, and it's how you mentally bounce back from it that is going to define who you are as a player and a person.
Exactly. This is him. I think he's got some personality, how to keep the ball. I like his style of play, you know, despite him being a bit clinical in front of goal, but he's somebody who moves a lot, creates a lot of chances, and he should forget it and move on.
This is just near to Last Chance Saloon. Can they force a bit of panic at the end? But when the ball bounces off, falls to a Sundown player, even when they would hope for maybe a little bit of luck, the luck isn't there for them. The luck might not be a lady, it's certainly a Sundown tonight. Free kick. Just taking out the last gasp bit of hope that might have been there for the hardest of Petro fans. They certainly haven't been outclassed over the 2 legs, but in the big moments, the Sundowns have shown their class.
Yeah, Sundowns have showed their class. You know, as we said earlier, they've got quality players. They've got players who can hold the ball. Defensively, they have been very, very impressed since the beginning of the game. And Yeah.
We saw Superman flying out there. If you've got Superman in your team,
it's comfortable. He does see right there. Rolani has done an incredible. He should be proud of his boys. You know, they've gone through very difficult moments since the beginning, and now they are cruising, and you can see the confidence of the players right now.
Maybe the only thing that could put the icing on the cake for his 50th game would be his 100th goal of his reign and a victory, but thankfully for him, it's not something they need tonight.
Maybe they have a cake inside waiting for him right now too.
100 candles waiting to be lit. Certainly, it's going to be a proud night. Usually a goalless draw at home wouldn't be something the Sundowns would be used to. But on this occasion, given the story of the match, it is quite an achievement how they've played, and they look like now, with just 10 seconds of stoppage time to go, even with this late free kick, they are heading to the semi-finals with Al Ali, and what a mouth-watering clash that will be. Ball swung in, keeper's up for it, and it falls to Marquez. Oh, it's flicked off target by his own captain. I mean, I'm not sure there was enough venom on the shot to beat his opposite goalkeeper, but he would have liked the chance to see it go.
Yeah, of course. He's a bit disappointed there. You know, he felt like he had a shot on target, and then it obviously he hit his own man. And yeah, sometimes you need to take a risk, and they've done what they had to do. I'm sure the coach will be very, very disappointed. Santos will be disappointed. He did what he had to do, but the players couldn't respond to the call. For me, I think it's a very, very disappointing performance from Petro Atletico. They have the players, and I'm sure when they go home, they're gonna go back to the drawing board and then wait for the next competition they have.
Well, that is lights out for Atlético Petro. It is sun shining for Mamelodi Sundowns. They are through to the semi-finals. It was expected to be an easier night, but after the sending off of Mvala, they were certainly made to sweat, if not as much as Petro would have liked. And in the end, it's 50 matches and another huge result for Rulani Mokoeni and his Sundown boys. They are into the semi-finals, and what a clash with 11-time and reigning CAF Champions League winners Al Ali. That is the first of our last four. So Asamoah, how did you rate the performance from Mamelodi Sundowns over the two legs?
I think so far so good for Mamelodi Sundowns. They did what they had to do. Tactically, I would like to say congratulations to their staff. The players responded to everything in terms of difficulties, and now they are through this well-deserved qualification for Mamelodi Sundowns, and very, very disappointing for Petro Atletico. At least they had a chance to even get some goals and make the game interesting. But what I like as a coach, when you create chances, that is where everybody has hope. But when you don't create chances, it's very, very disappointing. And me, if I'm a coach, I'll be very, very upset if my team doesn't create enough chances. And it's a very disappointing moment for Petro Atletico. But they have a very experienced coach. He knows how to put his team back. And I wish them luck in the next competition.
Well, of course, semi-finalists in the recent past of the Champions League, they'll have that to look forward to, as of course will Mamelodi Sundowns themselves. Semi-final defeat last edition, just on away goals to Wydad Casablanca, who failed to defend their title as they lost out to Al Ali. But now it's the Sundowns, the 2016 Champions League winners, against the 11-time champions Al Ali in the African Football League. They've been continental champions before, but no one has yet lifted the wonderful new African Football League trophy, and they've taken a big step towards that, and now face two matches home and away. First, the 29th of October, the Sundowns will be back here against the Egyptian Giants before the club of the century host them in the second leg, the 1st of November. Of course, on the other side of the draw, Wydad Casablanca against Inyemba and Esperance Tunis against Tepe Mazembe. But the moment, the night belongs to Mamelodi Sundowns. Petro will have a post-mortem of where it went wrong. But it's
Coach,
a great result,
huge
as we hear from Milani Mokoena.
Next round of the competition, and even a score which is 0-0. What would you make of your team's performance today?
Well, let me congratulate Mamelodi Sundowns for going through to the next round. I think that's the most important thing. Very gallant fight under very difficult circumstances. So very proud of the team, and now we just have to recover and prepare for Sunday.
Coach, as much as you are through, you obviously could not find the back of the net. Any comments on that?
Well, we had to play the way the game had to be played. That early red card meant we were going to suffer for lots of moments during the game, and we suffered when we suffered together, when we had to suffer. And I can just thank the players for their incredible commitment and the sacrifice that they put, and really they represented the club very well.
Thanks, Coach, and all the best.
Thank you team.
Coach, a very impressive performance. Unfortunately, you could not get the result that you wanted, but what do you make of the team's performance today?
Was not enough, but first, congratulations to Sundowns, Mamelodi Sundowns. They show they are very good team. They have very good players. They have a very good structure. They know what they do and what they need to do to control the game very well. We need a goal to change the things in the philosophy of Mamelodi. Okay, the red card was not prepared, was not a thing that I expected. The game changed, they defend more, we have different difficulties, but was not enough. We did our best. We did our best. It was not a perfect game because we need one goal to change the spirit, to change the stability that they have. But was not happen. And congratulations to Sundowns. I think they are in this moment very strong team and very probability to win this competition.
Thank you, Coach.
So goalless at the end, but Mamelodi Sundowns through to the semi-finals. Petro de Luanda, despite the man advantage, could not find a route to goal or the semi-finals of the African Football League. Well, it's been a long time coming, but the competition is now here and it is making waves across Africa and further afield. Mamelodi Sundowns, as Al Ali did earlier today, they're feeling that AFL feeling. The trophy is very much within sight, and it was some match, given that 2 minutes in we had a red card. Thiago Asamoah brought back into the starting lineup to provide some goal-scoring threat. He was chopped down and Mavala was off. And And yet Petro struggled to make the advantage count. Zawani showed good awareness. Mudau apologised. I'm not sure he needed to. It was a fabulous effort, just curled the wrong way. Petro finally had a sight at goal. Carlinhos curling in, an absolute cracker. Thiago Azulao maybe a little rusty given the lack of support. He couldn't find the target, though it was a fine effort just over Williams' crossbar. Well, it was the 50th match of Rulani Mokwene's reign. He'd only lost one match in that time in 90 minutes. In fact, they could have won this one. That would have been the 100th goal of the coach's reign. In the end, though, would have been ruled out. The save from Miguel means we'll never know. The Sundowns weren't the ones who needed to find a route to goal. Petro weren't knocking at the door often enough. Gilberto came on in a four-man switch at the half-time break for Alexander Santos' men. It did have an impact in making Petro certainly more offensive. They weren't creating enough chances. A loose cross from Anderson Cruz, easily dealt with by Williams on his line. Williams, the hero of the first leg, saving Gilberto's penalty. And again, a clean sheet, enough to see the Sundowns through by 2-0.